Good.
Great. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first meeting of the year for the Lewisville Town Council. So glad you could be with us here tonight in person. Also, thank you all for taking time out of your day if you're watching us on TV6 or on our Facebook feed. We're always pleased when we see people participate or at least show interest in our town government. We will start this evening with our customary roll call.
Good evening, everybody. Happy New Year. My name is Ivan Huffman.
Happy Thursday, everyone. My name's Melissa Hunt.
I'm Mike Horn.
Good evening. I'm Jane Welch.
Good Thursday evening. I'm Monty Long.
Very good. We also have our town manager, our town attorney, our town public works director, our town planner, our town communication specialist, our town clerk, and our town finance director all here tonight. So we're all duly recognized and represented. I'm a little froggy tonight. I'm fighting the ends of a cold, so if I get too froggy on you, you'll know that's the reason why. Oh, and here comes Dr. Sadler. Very good. At this time, we will stand for the invocation to be led by Councilmember Jane Welch, and it'll be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilmember Monty Long.
May we bow. Heavenly Father, again, we always thank you. Thank you for our many blessings, for our ability to serve our community. And we praise you, always, always, first and foremost. May we today remember the example of President Carter, who has been honored so much in recent days and buried today. May we serve as an example of how he voted his conscience. He said he would never lie to his constituents, and may we follow his example, but especially in voting what we think is best for our community. His example of his economic advisor telling him his advice for his decision would raise the interest rates, but yet they would plummet again. And certainly it did really raise them in the time of re-election that Carter miserably failed. And yes, interest rates did plummet. May we keep that in mind, that President Carter had the resolution to follow his heart, follow his conscience. May God bless us each and every one, and especially be with our military. In his holy name we ask. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everybody. All righty. Ms. Moore, have we had any additions or changes on our agenda since it went out?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Council members will entertain a motion to adopt our agenda for this evening. Approve?
Second.
Motion. Ms. Hunt makes the second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That is unanimous. Madam Manager, our consent agenda for this evening.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Tonight on the consent agenda, first is Resolution 2025-001, the financial statements for 5 months ended November 30, 2024. Approval of agenda briefing minutes for December 5th, 2024. Approval of special meeting minutes for December 11th, 2024. Approval of regular meeting minutes for December 12th, 2024. And lastly, a 2025 meeting calendar revision.
Very good. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the consent agenda are items that come before the council on a regular basis. We take them as a group for efficiency, but if any council member wishes any one of those to be pulled off, there's the example of the frog. They can do so and we can discuss that separately. Council members, what's your pleasure?
Motion to approve consent agenda items as they are.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Hunt, second by Ms. Welch. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. That is unanimous. PJ, how are you tonight?
Good.
Are you dressed for the winter?
I am, yep. So, anybody wants to play beach volleyball, we'll have to wait a few months. So. Ready for some warm weather. Our stats for December, 699 compared to 685 this time last year. These are for December. 408 security checks, 25 traffic arrests, alarms were 17 for the month and still running about the same response time. So not a lot of any significant events to report within the town, but I did want to take just a moment to remind some folks and around town about our with the bad weather coming in. So what we've come up with over the last several years is emergency management. Implemented a policy, if you happen to see a tree down or power lines down or a car abandoned on the side of the road and you're not sure that if it's been involved in a traffic crash, or even if it's obvious if it's hit a guardrail or anything. So what we've done is if you see any yellow marking tape, the caution tape, whether it be fire, highway patrol, EMS, sheriff's deputy, once those cars have been checked on or once that tree has been reported or power lines, the fire department's come out, whether it be a transformer that's exploded or anything, if you see that tape, there's no need to re-report that to the non-emergency number. So what that's kind of cut down is if you get out on the highway and first responders trying to maneuver around in the snow and ice. So as much as we encourage everybody to try to stay off the roads as much as possible, that's going to go for us as well. So they will try to make that as visible as possible, even leaving a little tail so the wind will get it so you don't have to worry about it being covered with snow, because that's going to be one of the first things that if you call 911 or call the non-emergency number with the sheriff's office, they're typically going to ask you if it has any yellow caution tape around it. So if you're not sure, don't hesitate to reach out and call us. So that will help us, especially with the power lines as well. Duke Power, whether it be cable or anything, they will not, during storms, they will not give you any kind of estimate on when they're actually going to do that, try to get that power restored. So understand those folks are working as hard as they can once that outage is reported. Chief Needham with Lewisville Fire Department made a statement to me this morning, said that you can certainly reach out, and he would prefer that any trees that are down within the town, Lewisville's fire district, they would call the fire department directly. They'll have that station manned when communications goes in what they call a storm mode. That means everybody's going to be manned, the telephones and the fire department. So you can call and report those trees down as well. We'll try to get those removed as quickly as possible. So, I would encourage everybody to try to get what they need tonight or early in the morning. Once this snow starts falling, it's going to stick as cold as it's been. We got a chance to get clear of the roadways before rush hour traffic. So, Friday afternoon traffic's bad anyway. You throw some snow in the mix and we've really got a mess. So I hope everybody stays safe, and if you do have to get out, try to be careful. If you have elderly neighbors that are right around your neighborhood, I encourage you to check on them, get a plan in place, make sure they got their medication, try to get that stuff early before this snow hits. So it's all about pre-planning and preparing for the worst. So hope you have a good rest of the week, and see you back next month.
Thank you, BJ. Any questions? Already, appreciate it.
Thank you.
You have one recognition to make tonight. Miles Van Oos. Did I pronounce that, Miles?
It's
Van Hughes, V-A-N-U-S-E.
H-U-I-S.
Of course.
Thank you.
Well, welcome. Miles is here. Are you with 758?
Oh, no, 911.
911, very good. Well, Miles is here to observe one of our meetings because it's a requirement for the citizenship merit badge. Is that correct?
Yep.
Very good. Well, we're glad you and your mother are both here tonight. If any time, Miles, you want to come up and sit in one of these chairs, just let us know. We'll put you. We have a vacant one tonight, so you can come up and we can quiz you on the items that are on the agenda. Thank you, Miles. I'm glad you're here.
Glad to be here, too.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this will be one of 3 opportunities for you to address the council tonight. This is our public forum. There'll be a public hearing following this, which is our ordinance to place an issue on the ballot. And then finally, at the end of our meeting, there'll be a 3rd opportunity for you to address the council. So right now, if you have Anything in your heart you'd like to share with the council, this is a great time to do it, and we'll have the public hearing after this. Anybody wish to speak, please come up, state your name and your address, please.
Good evening, Susan Fry, Will Austin Court in Lewisville. I want to comment on the holiday cardboard recycling service provided by the town. I've considered bringing this up for the past several years. The unsightly mess that is left by some people is really unacceptable and sad. It's sad. So I'm sure this won't be a popular opinion, but I feel this service should end. The service is a nice to have, not a need to have. There are other places available to recycle the cardboard. And it's also likely that not just Lewisville residents are availing themselves of this service. I feel that the cost of providing this service, along with the cost and time of our town staff to clean up the mess, just doesn't make sense. And I think the funds could probably be used better elsewhere. And I hope that come budget crunching time, you consider that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak? All righty. Madam Manager, you have our next item.
All right, so next on the agenda is our public hearing tonight. So it's being held to receive comments regarding the town of Lewisville amending their charter to include staggered terms. There is no action before the council tonight. However, an ordinance to amend the charter will be before the council at their regular meeting on February the 13th, next month. This ordinance will include information regarding the process for staggered terms, which is as followed. And I'd like to go through a few bullet points just to try to be informative for our residents. So during the November 2025 election, a voter referendum will be placed on the ballot regarding staggered terms. If the referendum passes, staggered terms will be effective at the regular municipal election to be held in 2027. Candidates for 3 council seats receiving the highest number of votes will be elected to a 4-year term. Candidates for 3 council seats receiving the lowest number of votes will be elected to a 2-year term. The mayoral seat will also be elected for a 2-year term. At the regular municipal election to be held in 2029, and every 4 years after that, 3 candidate seats will be elected to serve 4-year terms. In the event for the November 2025 election, if the referendum does not pass, all council seats, including the mayor's seat, would remain at a 2-year term as it is currently structured today. So does anybody have any questions or anything about that?
Any questions? If not, this is a public forum, or public hearing. We'll have a public hearing. Stacy, we're setting the date for February to review the ordinance again?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So this is just the public hearing tonight on whether to place this item on the ballot in November.
No, I think, Mayor, it will be placed on the ballot. Part of the process we have to go through is to hold a public hearing in order to change the charter, which would then include a voter referendum.
Okay.
Assuming that the voter,
it's approved.
Right,
assuming the ordinance
We
is
vote on
approved
it next month. So that's what
Right.
that's what I said. We're not voting on it tonight.
Correct.
We have a public hearing scheduled for, or not a public hearing. We have the item to be on our agenda for February. But
Yes.
tonight, the comments we'll be hearing is whether we should place it on the ballot or not place it on the ballot. Is that correct?
Well, I think it's whether or not to go to staggered terms
Okay, very
or
good. So
not.
we'll have
Right.
a wide open thing. Very good. With that said, and the confusion relieved, we'll open the public hearing. Is there anybody here this evening who wishes to speak on this issue? Please come forward, state your name and your address.
For the record, my name is Fred Franklin, and my address is 1420 Conrad Sawmill Road. Mayor, council members, thank you for allowing the public this opportunity to address you at this public hearing tonight concerning one of the most important decisions that will be made in the history of our town. That's changing our charter and the way Lewisville elects its leaders. I've been trying to follow the council actions and discussions available to the public since this issue first surfaced back in October, and I'm still not convinced that going to 4-year staggered terms will accomplish anything, because I'm not sure what you're wanting to accomplish. If it's to ensure continuity of leadership, I'm not sure 4-year staggered terms is the answer. The argument that you can't learn the job as a council member in 2 years, well, is frankly the stuff I try not to step in my cow pastures. I know the passage of H.Bill 1064 in 2024 that had some garbage attached by our local representatives has dramatically changed the election process by forcing partisan versus nonpartisan elections in the 7 small municipalities in Forsyth County for the 2025 cycle and unfortunately for the foreseeable future. As of 2024, there were 552 municipalities in North Carolina. Only 5 currently have partisan elections: Kinston, Lumberton, Sanford, Charlotte, and Winston-Salem. Of the remaining 457 municipalities, Bethania, Clemens, Lewisville, Kernersville, Rural Hall, Tobacconville, and Walkertown will get to move into the big leagues in the 2025 cycle. Whoa, that only leaves 450 municipalities in our state with nonpartisan elections. Currently in Forsyth County, 5 of the 7 municipalities do have staggered terms. Only Lewisville and Kernersville elect the whole body every 2 years. All the other local municipalities have 5-member boards with a mayor, and I would say boards or councils. What's the right number of members if you want to implement staggered terms? 7 members or 5 members? If you're changing the charter, what about this? I've learned through the years that a knee-jerk reaction to something that most times is unknown will always seem to have some type of negative consequence that is unintended and not thought about on down the road. What if in, say, 2031, 6 years out, after this action has been fully implemented, a council member newly elected to a 4-year term in 2029 decides to run against the mayor 2 years later, and if that council member were to lose the mayoral race, returns to their council seat for the rest of their original term of 2029 through 2033. This could happen with what y'all are talking about. I will say that it is my understanding from a recent conversation with the mayor of Kernersville that they are not actively pursuing changing to a staggered term format. They are staying with everybody every 2 years. An interesting tidbit to think about, Kernersville did change their charter sometime in the 80s to go from 4-year terms for the members to 2-year terms for everybody. I think I might know what the current council may be afraid of. On January the 4th, the Forsyth County GOP sent out the following. At this time, we must prepare for the 2025 elections. And thanks to the NC legislature, these elections will be partisan. That means liberals can no longer hide behind the label unaffiliated if they want to hold office in Forsyth County. I always thought that it was a nonpartisan election with a plurality of votes cast. You can't change this, and the horse is already out of the barn. Getting back to continuity, if that's the issue, look around the walls here and look at this spreadsheet that I'm holding up. I know you can't see it very well, but see the long strengths of peak that's on it? That shows continuity. It shows people that have stepped up and served at least 2 consecutive terms together. Many others have termed out after 4 consecutive terms in the past. There are a couple of periods where there was a new group of folks elected, somewhere about 2003, 2005 time frame. And then over here, right now, we got a lot of people that don't have experience on this end. Again, I want to thank you for allowing the public to comment on this important issue. It's my hope that you will think long and hard about what you're thinking about doing with this ordinance between now and February the 13th meeting. It is my hope that the town will stay with what we got now and not go to staggered terms as currently proposed. If I had a vote in the matter, it would be a no. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Franklin. And thank you also for hanging on to that memorabilia that we used during
I thought it might bring a chuckle.
we used during the COVID years, yeah.
That's exactly
Very
right.
good. All righty. We do have one also that's green, and it's a thumbs up, so we have both options.
Hey, Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
can we ask him for that chart to be,
Sure. Fred, do you want to share that with Dora, and she can share that with the rest of the council, your chart?
I would.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
I haven't prepared for tonight.
yeah, thank
Great.
you.
Thank you.
Very good. Anybody else wish to speak tonight? Anyone else?
I'll just say 100% agree.
Very good. Would you state your name and address, please?
Thompson, 737 Lewisville Town Road, Lewisville, North Carolina. And I told you last month how I felt and pretty much read this fidelity.
Very good. Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak? If not, we'll close the public hearing. Dora, you have our first item of new business.
Yes, sir. In front of council is Resolution 2025-002. This is for a facility fee reduction for 2 rooms and the kitchen at Mary Alice Warren Community Center on March 13th for the Boy Scout Troop 752 to host the Wachovia District Banquet.
Very good. Council members, you were briefed on this last Thursday. Any discussion, or will I entertain a motion?
Motion.
I'll just,
Go ahead.
just a comment on it. This is actually not an action that is inconsistent with what we've done in the past. It's just in reaction to a change in policy that we're having to approve this as it's been presented tonight. So just for the public's awareness, we have approved this, my understanding, twice before. Is that right?
I believe so,
For
yes.
this, for the district meeting of the Boy Scouts. And so it's just, we changed the policy, and so they had to comply with the policy. They had to request this again tonight. So that's what's going on. It's not really something new.
Council members, any other comments? If not, we will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve Resolution 2025-002.
Second.
Mr. Long, was that your second?
Yes.
Very good. Ms. Hunt makes the motion. Mr. Long makes the second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
That is 5-1 with Mr. Huffman in opposition. Very good. Stacy, I believe you have the next item.
Yes, sir. So before you tonight is Resolution 2025-003. This resolution is to extend the vested rights for the Arden Townhomes project. Per the Unified Development Ordinance, Chapter B, Article 1.5, and General Statutes 160D-108 and 108.1, a vested right is established when a site-specific development plan, such as these townhomes, is approved by the elected body. Once approved, the vested right remains in effect for a minimum of 2 years, but up to 5 years. During that time frame, the right is not lost as long as a building permit for the site has been obtained. So this particular development, it was approved back in February of 2023. Their 2-year vested period is about to expire. They have not had the availability to obtain a building permit in order for that right to be extended due to the postponement of the Great Wagon Road. That is where their access falls. So we bring this resolution before you in order to reaffirm their vested right for 5 years, so their approved site plan does not sunset. I would also note that I believe it has been placed in front of you tonight due to a change to that resolution. It has been amended since the last briefing and now includes that UDO reference and that general statute reference that I spoke about. So if there's no other questions, staff recommends approval of this resolution 2025-003.
Any questions for Stacy?
I do, Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Stacy. So this particular vested rights, is this a result of the 160D that came out? I mean, this is a change in the UDO?
No. Vested rights has always been a thing in our Unified Development Ordinance. It's just some of the language was updated
that's
due
what I
to
was-
160D changes a couple years ago. We used to call it like that their site plan would sunset. Now it's the more accepted language that 160D uses is that vested right, that they would lose that vested right.
Okay. And prior to 160D, that was the 2-year period. It just extended it to 5-year and beyond. Is that what 160D did?
Now, the vested right has always been 2 years. Like when you approve a site plan, the assumption is 2 years. But our ordinance allows it to go up to 5 years. But since that was not explicit in their original approval, we wanted to come back before council with this resolution just to reaffirm that they would not lose their vested right and could have up to that 5 years. General statutes does have some language that if they wanted to come back again, I believe it does give council that leeway to even extend it a little bit further if they needed to.
Well, hopefully we'll have a road built by
I
then.
hope so too.
You've been saying that for 15 years, but we'll see how that plans out. Any other questions?
No, that's it.
What's your pleasure, council?
Move to approve.
Mr. Huffman makes the motion. Dr. Sadler makes the second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. That's unanimous. All righty. Lynn, you have some information for us that we're getting ready to set a public hearing for February.
Correct. Good evening, council. I hope you're all well. Good evening to folks who are here. Quite simply, the next resolution is to set a public hearing for rezoning case L111 at 7505 Franklin Road. The request is to rezone a portion of the parcel from conditional pedestrian business to RS20, residential single family, 20,000 square feet. The entire neighborhood surrounding this parcel is zoned RS20, and the goal of the applicant is to bring the zoning into more consistency with what's in the neighborhood now.
Great. And just to be clear, this has been requested by the property owner.
This is correct. Requested and applied for by the property owner. We had a meeting. Before our next council meeting, of course, we'll prepare a full information packet for you all. Have maps, staff report, information, recommendations, and things like that.
Very good. Any questions for Lynn? Council members, entertain a motion, please.
Move for approval.
Second.
This will be to set a public hearing for February 13th for this particular matter. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Again, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. That is unanimous. All righty. Lynn, you have the next bat.
Similarly, we have an application submitted by the property owner or representatives of the property owner for rezoning several parcels of land that are contiguous to each other. This is Temple Baptist Church. Case L112, L112 at 7035 Franklin Road. Currently, the properties that they own have a mixed zoning, districts, RS20 and general industrial. The general industrial is sort of a legacy zoning from when the first Lewisville zoning statutes went into place and what was actually happening on the ground at the time. Since then, the church has acquired these properties, cleared off the old structures, and prepared them for what they have expressed to me will be the location for their new sanctuary. So this is an attempt to rezone to IP institutions and public for to better serve the possible future needs of the church as it may grow or change, in keeping with the sort of general setting of the community in which it's located. And again, we'll also have a full packet of information for you ready before the next hearing.
Any questions for Lynn? Council members, entertain a motion, please.
Motion to approve Resolution 2025005.
Second.
Sump makes the motion, Dr. Sadler makes the second, and this is to set a public hearing for February 13th. Very good. No additional discussion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. That is unanimous.
Thank you.
Administrative reports.
Yes, so we have a lot to report tonight for some upcoming events and closings. First off, our Christmas tree pickup will begin Monday, January the 13th. That is for live trees, free of lights and ornaments, and they should be placed at the curb by 6 a.m. The annual e-cycle event hosted by Waste Management is scheduled for Saturday, January 18th from 9 until 1 at Shallowford Square, and a list of those acceptable electronics may be found on the town's website. Town offices will be closed January 20th in observance of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. On into February, but prior to our next council meeting, the next Winter Art Show, hosted by our Public Art Advisory Committee, themed Loving Life in Lewisville, will be held Friday evening, February 7th at Mary Alice Warren Community Center from 4:30 until 6:30. Artists, even kindergartners all the way through 12th grade, and adults are invited to submit their art through January the 23rd. Next, the CPR class is scheduled for Saturday, February 8th. That is the next available class from 8 a.m. until noon at the Mary Alice Warren Community Center. I will mention that currently there are still 10 spots available for that next class. The next blood drive, also being held at the Mary Alice Warren Community Center, is scheduled for Wednesday, February 12th from 1 until 5:30. I would also like to mention one more thing. PJ had spoken about the hazardous possible weather that may be coming up. So we are in that path. Due to that potential weather later in the day tomorrow, Waste Management will start their Friday trash route at 5 a.m. instead of 6 a.m. We're asking residents to place their cans, their bins at the curb if they have a Friday route, in order for them to hopefully complete that route tomorrow and to ensure the safety of the drivers for Waste Management. So they had reached out to us today and asked for that opportunity. So we felt that would be the best to try to get the route done, but then also to keep the drivers safe. But then lastly, Mayor, if we will, I would like for John to come up. And the Public Works Department has been doing numerous things over the past couple days, and will also be doing things tomorrow in preparation of the weather. And I would like John to do a quick report on that, if you would like.
Promise to be quick.
But
Thank
thorough.
you. Good evening. We're keeping a close eye on the forecast, as you can imagine, and things kind of started to settle today. I'm sure you've all seen that they're calling for about a 3-inch. We're in that sort of 3-inch category. Now, the latest briefing that came through right as we started the meeting changed things just a little bit, so we got to be a little bit more aware, and I'll read straight from this that said there's a growing concern that this might be a larger ice storm than previously thought. In fact, there may be enough ice accumulation from freezing rain to result in downed trees and power lines and power outages. Residents of central North Carolina should prepare now for the possibility of losing power for a while. That's from the Raleigh National Weather Service office. So it may be, at least keep in the back of your mind that we need to be prepared for some extended power outages with this. Hopefully it's just a beautiful snow and we get to enjoy one for the first time in I don't know how many years. But do what you can to prepare and help people get prepared for the power to be out for a while. It will be staying cold. We're working. We have a contractor that does all our plowing for us on the town roads. We're in regular contact with that contractor to make sure that we've got everything marked, make sure that they understand all the streets, everywhere they can go, everywhere they can't go. They will be they're at the mercy of the NCDOT, and they get put on call when the DOT goes on call. And then we will, of course, we can't get to our roads until the DOT gets to their roads and clears the path for our plow. So we ask for some patience as the DOT gets to work. They have to worry about the main highways first. Then they get down to the secondary roads and the feeder roads, and so then we can come in after them. So there's a little bit of a layover between when we're able to they get there and when we can get there. Veronica's been doing some spectacular work on our social media and our messaging. I hope I don't know how much of it has gone out yet, but we're trying to get as much word out to keep people safe, to keep people prepared as possible. And we as a crew went ahead and prepped our equipment today. We've got our plows ready to go. We've got all our treatments ready to go. We'll pre-treat town-old properties as much as we can to make sure those are safe for everybody coming back to work on Monday, as well as a couple weekend events we'll have. Stacy mentioned Waste Management, trying to keep those guys safe. We're going to get them out of here early tomorrow, hopefully. And we just kind of want to urge everybody to stay home if you can and stay off the roads, give the plows room to work. And please, if you can, keep all the parking off the street, get the cars out of the way, get the trash cans out of the way, any objects out there in the street. We're all a little bit rusty with this, but remember that we have to make room on our town streets for these plows to come through and do their jobs. And so please, please consider them and their safety and those drivers' safety and make room for them.
Very good.
Okay.
And John, just to have a little better explanation, Interstate 40 is a primary road, and they will clear that first, and then they move on to the secondary roads like our thoroughfares, which is Lewisville Clemens, Shallowford Road, Lewisville Vienna, Grapevine, I think Franklin as well, going back the other direction. So we may not get into your neighborhoods immediately, but that's the order in which DOT clears the roads. So as soon as they get their job done, we have trucks ready to go.
Right.
And Food Lion and Lowe's have asked me to announce that they have extra cashiers on duty tonight. So,
But no milk.
But no milk. The milk is gone. I got the last container.
Mayor,
Yes,
John,
ma'am.
I have a question for you. Thank you. That was very nice and thorough. I appreciate that. Do you have any indication of when they're expecting things to start falling, or as far as precipitation?
They have moved it into the day earlier, I think, and I think that's why the schools went ahead and canceled. It could, I think, start as early as 1. Most models are putting it maybe in that 2 to 3 o'clock category, and it's supposed to start light, and it's supposed to start as snow. I wouldn't expect to see any plowing or road clearing going on tomorrow evening. I think they're going to, it should come lightly to begin with, and they'll let everybody get home, and then we'll wake up Saturday morning, see what we have, and start getting it out of the way.
Thank you.
Any other questions for John? All righty, thanks, John. You're on 72-hour alert this weekend, right?
Yes, sir.
Dora, you have our next items, please.
Before we go.
Yes, sir.
Just on the CPR, I know you've announced before the process for signing up, but would it, could you mention again if those 10 slots are still available, how people could sign up if they're interested?
Yes, you can locate information on our website, but then also you can either call Town Hall or email our communications specialist, Veronica. Her email address is vlasier@lewisvillenc.net, and you can sign up for those classes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Does she still get mail at Public Information?
I do not think so, no.
Okay, so that's gone. Very good. Would you spell leisure, please?
Leasure.
Thank you. All righty. Now, Dora, you're up.
Yes, sir. Council, just a reminder that your annual council retreat is coming up at the end of the month at Mary Alice Warren Community Center. The first session will be held Friday, January 31st, beginning at 6 o'clock. And then it will reconvene on Saturday morning, February 1st at 9 a.m. We have spoken to the committee chairs of Environmental, Parks and Rec, and Public Art and Beautification, and all have responded, with the exception of Beautification, that they will be there. I will be touching base with the Beautification Committee Chair next week as well. The next thing to bring to your attention is that we are soliciting applications for our town boards and the Public Art Advisory Committee. Those will be accepted until January 31st. You will make your appointments at your March meeting, with those appointments becoming effective April 1st.
Mayor, may I?
Mhm.
Dora, thank you for that. With the encouragement of the individuals to apply for one of our boards, one of our committees, it's a great way to be involved in the town without too much commitment, and also to encourage our youth possibly. My question was, is there an age limit or any age
Typically
parameters?
18 and older.
18 and older.
Mhm.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And the final thing is just to remind you of the Town and State Dinner on February 26th in Raleigh. If you would like to attend, please let me know by February 1st.
Very good. Any questions for Dora? All righty. We are now to another opportunity for anybody in the audience who would like to address the council at this point. This is our last public forum. If you'd like to address the council on anything, please come forward. State your name and address. I see nobody moving. I'm going to solicit a comment. What do you think, Miles?
Oh, it's pretty good. We're just curious about being able to sit up there, and do you mean like right now or after?
Come on up here, Miles. Sure.
Yay, that's exciting.
You can be part of our adjournment. Does Mom have her camera?
Nice to see you, buddy.
Out of Miles in the seat of power. How's it going? Good to see you.
Scoot it on up. You want to try the microphone?
What's up?
Good. All righty. Since there are no public comments, also you can submit written comments at lewisvillenc.net and put them to our attention, and we'll be glad to include those as part of the meeting tonight. Council members, any comments?
I have a comment, Mayor. It's great to have you up here with us. I have a huge passion for our youth in the town of Lewisville and just kind of in general. I have 3 young children myself, and so it's great to see youth in our audience. Thank you for bringing them out this evening, and I encourage all youth that are watching, or parents of youth that are watching, please come and give us a visit. It's a great time.
Very good. Council members, any other comments? Miles, you want to make an official comment since you're sitting in the chair? Well thought. Well said. Okay.
Mayor, I think he was wanting my booster seat, but I don't think you need it.
He's in pretty good shape, yeah. One final thought. Of course, folks, please be safe out there this weekend. If you don't have to get on the roads, don't get on the roads. John emphasized the point, get your cars out of the roads, please, because our plows cannot plow the roads if there are cars parked on the roadways themselves. Final thought, I hope all of you, and I'm sure all of you, share my thoughts and prayers for those folks in Los Angeles, Pacific Palisades, Hollywood Hills, that whole area in central Los Angeles, who have just undergone one of the most devastating things that you can ever undergo. You've lost everything that you own, and you've escaped literally with the shirt on your back. So our thoughts are with you. With that, if there are no other comments this evening, thank you for attending tonight. Thank you for watching at home. And do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Dr. Sadler makes the motion. Mr. Long makes the second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We're adjourned.
Thank you for coming out. Let's go.
I go to...